It's about to start. We'll talk about code or whatever we'll talk about today. It's about to start, so please hang tight while I check that everything is okay. Sound check, camera check, lights check. How's my hair? Oh, wait, I don't have any hair. Maybe put some pants on and I am good to go. So get ready wherever you are, 'cause this stream is about to start. Get ready wherever you are, 'cause this stream is about to start. Hi, I am Leandro Facchinetti. Let's talk about audio production. With me is Arya. How are you doing, Arya?
Good to be here. Just checking that my headphone is not too loud. Oh, all right, I think that'll be okay.
Okay. Right, so following up on what we were doing last week on Tuesday, our Wednesday stream was on Tuesday.
Wait, hold on. Sorry. One thing that I was noticing is that there's a lot of audio lag, video syncage.
Really? On my voice, on your voice, on both?
Yesterday when I dropped in on your stream and there was like a little bit of lag. I think maybe it's only on your voice actually. Or sorry, maybe it's only on my voice. But yesterday there was some lag on your voice as well, but I know your system is like normally the same.
Well, lag is weird because even the latency is not consistent. You turn on the system today and tomorrow, you're not going to get exactly the same numbers. So I can try to resync things now, but unless it's like atrociously bad, I won't.
Yeah, actually, like on the stream, it's not so bad. I think it's only on Video Ninja, but I can live with it. So forget I said anything.
Okay. Weird. Because the audio that you get and the audio that the stream gets is supposed to come from the same source. So go figure. Well, in any case, so last week our Wednesday stream was on Tuesday, and we were talking about recreating sounds using synthesizers that could work in a composition that would be in the style of a string quartet. And my homework was to come up with patches that would work in this context, and I did not do my homework. But you seem to have done part of my homework. So how about we start by you sharing the patches that you made, and I would love to hear about the synthesizers that you chose. I'm sure you're not using ReaSynth, and we can talk about that a little bit, but then I will throw you a curveball and we could talk about something else entirely. I have a completely different song that is in the works and it needs some vocal production. So I thought we could talk about pitch correction, about gain writing and all that stuff. So yeah, I can see that you're sharing your screen. So show me how you did my homework.
Sure, sounds like a plan. I was just kind of messing around just now on my old Serum. So I did this patch, which I guess let me know if you hear this and the stream hears this.
Yeah, everyone hears that.
Okay, do you think it sounds like strings?
It has the same qualities like the attack and even some of the timbre, but it doesn't sound like a natural. It wouldn't fool anyone.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what
I mean,
you're going
you
for.
can never fool anybody. Yeah, like, or I mean, you can fool like a very small percentage of people. Even samples can't really fool people. Like, if you play the instruments, you're gonna know like right away this is not real. But a couple of things that I did use that I thought helped. One was kind of like I guess one thing that I really kind of wanted was like a really kind of shrilly high end. So one thing you can do with like Serum, and this is where Serum gets cool, is you can apply to like basic shapes asymmetry. So there's this like flip asymmetry, and as I play the note, it's kind of flipping the second wave shape, and then you can modulate that flipping and you create kind of this evolving kind of upper register. So I thought that was really kind of helpful. And then at that one point it kind of cancels out, but like whatever, that's kind of very late in the phase of the note, so it usually doesn't really even get there. Then I use two envelopes. One is controlling the filter and one is like the notes. So the notes kind of come in low, but the filter opens up a little faster, which is kind of also very I don't know, strings style. And then the filter closes or decays kind of slower, right? Something like this. And then you can also like modulate kind of like the volume. You can, use velocity to make the envelope kind of be generated faster. But I thought like the best thing to actually make something sound stringy was this situation. So I have like both oscillators are playing the same thing. One of them has this flip thing going on it. Both are generating like 7 voices. And then this one is kind of detuned, and then this blend kind of controls the center oscillation versus all the sides or the like detuned ones. So this one turned up. The second one is more detuned, but the center is turned down. So you get this like tight center pitch, but then everything else is kind of like spread around.
So I guess
thought that helped.
When you say that an oscillator has 7 voices, it actually is like 7 oscillators that have very similar frequencies. Not quite the same because of detuning, but similar frequencies and the same shape of the wave, right?
Yeah, like if I play a single note and I move this detune, you start to hear those voices.
Mm-hmm.
And when you add voices, I guess this one, the sides are turned down, so let me just turn it up just so that we can hear.
And I guess acoustically, what you're going for is the notion of an ensemble. People are going to play in pitch, but not like to descent.
Yeah, exactly. Whoa. Yeah. And yeah, but like, I mean, effects, right? If I turn the effects down, if I just lose the reverb, it's very synthy. But once you have this, I feel like it like takes the edge off of a lot of those like really kind of synthy sounding stuff there. Yeah, so that's basically it. But one thing that like as soon as I got into Serum, it got a lot easier. And that's just because like when you see the whole interface in one place, I feel like it always helps to make things kind of like understanding, like with Reaper, we have like full kind of modular control. But this way, like I can see what's reacting with what, and everything is like right there, and the filter. So it's really kind of just, I don't know, like intuitive to kind of adjust that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. No one is proposing that the workflow we were using last week was ergonomic. It was educational in some sense, but not in others. Like you can see the whole picture in front of you right now, and we couldn't. So on the other hand, we were working from first principles, and that's educational in a way. So it's like educational in the way of writing JS effects to come up with your own things. It's educational, but people don't do that. They just use existing effects, or they use something like Max MSP or something like that. Right. So would you play this same patch over all the octaves to make from the double bass up to violin?
Probably changing the amount of detune. So I would like copy the same patch. I would change the amount of detuning for the lower registers, possibly even reduce the number of voices. Because, I mean, you can even do that, right? First violin, 16 voices. Second violin, 8 voices. And then maybe, well, cellos are still 8 voices, but maybe, since I have 2 oscillators, maybe the cellos could be 2 voices on each one. Or one kind of super central voice, super monophonic. And then, like, the side blends, the detuned blends are lower, So just kind of adjusting stuff like that to affect, like, the weight of the sound. But also, I guess, changing the filter, because obviously the higher end stuff would have more of those like shrill voices. And then with a cello, maybe I even want to use a different type of filter.
Yeah, speaking of the filter, I saw that you only used essentially a low pass. You didn't do any of the more interesting filters we talked about last week that you showed in Serum, in fact. But you're not using any of the fancier things.
No, because those filters are synthy too. So if you're going for like more natural stuff, then it's like the simpler stuff works better. There is an EQ kind of after on the FX rack, and on that one I have also the lows rolled off, and both sides have like resonances. Yeah.
And another thing that we didn't talk about, but we could have, is there is a whole different notion of synthesis. Instead of using oscillators and filters like we are doing, you can simulate a string and excite the simulated string. That's another, I guess, basis or foundation for synthesis. And we did not explore that at all, which is kind of weird because we were thinking about stringed instruments. So do you use these kinds of synthesizers, and how do you like them?
Yeah, I like them. Ableton has like tension, which is like physical modeling, physical modeling, but like digitally modeled physics. So you can make, you can have a string, you can have a pipe, or you can have like a block, and then you can have a metal block or a wood block or something, and then you change the size. You in the string you can have it be on a body or like not, and if there is a body, you can affect the shape of the body. And I guess like underlying to that, like what happens is like what resonates. Different kind of like different bodies, for example, affect the resonating amount, and then you can change the like placement of the pick and the placement of the pickup, and that like this relation kind of affects the frequency. And like picking harder, like you can change the material of the plectrum, and that changes some stuff. You can make each individual sound like, of these physical modelings, I guess, with the normal synthesis. But this just gives you a different way of, I guess, thinking about stuff. So instead of going like, the filter needs to be less resonant, you can go and like soften or you can turn your like pickup off axis, right? So yeah, like I like... tension is like there's a lot more advanced stuff than tension, but I really like tension. I think it is super usable. Like you can make a nice xylophone sound with it. You can make a lot of good like percussive elements with the woodblock stuff. Yeah, big fan.
Right. I have no experience, except maybe I played a little bit with Geraint Love's hammer and strings or something like that.
Chord.
Hammer and chord, yeah. But I haven't really done anything useful with that. I just played around with it. Right, so with all that said, hopefully for next week I will have some patches and we'll be able to talk more about the composition aspect of this. But do you want to switch gears and talk about something else entirely?
Sure.
Right, okay, so, and Bo is here. Hello, Bo, saying let's code a synth. Yeah, sure, that's what we have been doing on Tuesdays. Well, we started talking about that on Tuesdays. But some people will be building synths. But yeah, let's switch gears and talk about something else. Let me click on the button here. Where is the button that I need to click?
I just realized you never see yourself with your eyes closed because you need your eyes open to see yourself. So now I'm obsessed with looking at that.
Okay. So we have this. This is what's up. So it's a completely different project,
Okay.
completely different song. And the main thing that I want to talk about is, I guess, a follow-up to something we did way back when we started this whole series of streams. We started with a song that was about the stream. The stream is about to start. And this song that I'm working on is kind of in the same style. It started with a guitar and it will have some vocals and it's sort of in a similar style, but I do want to have a bigger production on this one, mainly because I'm not tired of this song yet. And it's a song that I wrote like way back, like a couple of years ago. Never recorded it. But I do have this recording here, and this one is just a scratch track. It was just like, I pointed the SM58 roughly in my direction, and I played the guitar, and I sang, and I was doing that with a click track. Not a click track, really. I was using like this. Oh, I just realized that you are not hearing
don't
this.
hear.
Yeah. But it's just Steven Slade's drums, and I was using that instead of the click track. It was a suggestion by someone on the chat, and I kind of liked doing it that way. So let's do this so that Arya
Yeah,
will
it's
hear
better
this.
than, like, it's better to have a rhythm than to have it just a click.
Yeah. But we don't really need to hear that. Let's just hear the song, and then for now I'll just show you the scratch track, but then I will show you the vocals that I recorded, the editing that I already did, which is pretty much using the techniques that we already covered in these streams. But then we can take it to the next step, doing volume automation, doing pitch correction, and maybe even getting into background vocals, which is something that Arya wanted to do for the previous song, but I was sick and tired of it, so we may do it for this song. Yeah, let's get to know the song first. This is a song about people who are in their third shower of the day. A song about people who shower both before and after going out. This is a song about you. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. It's better for the environment, it's better for your electric bill, it's better for your skin. really hot. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. As you do. I butchered
Nice.
the last part, but it's supposed to be the same as the beginning. Yeah, so that's the song.
Okay.
Isn't it silly?
Yeah, it's so you wrote this a long time ago, but recently there was a whole controversy with Jake Gyllenhaal, I think. Do you know about this?
No, I don't know this person. I don't know the controversy. What? Tell me about it.
Jake Gyllenhaal, he's an actor. If you see his face, you probably know his face. He was like in Donnie Darko and Zodiac and Nightcrawler and
What is the
bunch
name
of
of the
other
person
movies.
again?
Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeah. Wow. He's the first Jake of Google. That's pretty.
I
high
bet that Google
octane.
is listening to the stream. I mean, we are streaming to YouTube, right? Yeah. I guess this is such a common face that I don't really recognize, but yeah, sure. Okay.
Okay. So he said on an interview that like what did he say exactly? He said that he doesn't shower often, and then people like came at him hard.
Oh man, I
And
lost
like, you're
all of
gross.
this. I could have made
Your
a
children are gross.
I could have made a hit.
It was
I guess I lost the time.
yeah. No, I think like I mean other stuff has happened, but I think this would still, because it's a controversy, right? That the shower frequency. Yeah.
Yeah. I was talking to some people who were like, no, I take 2 showers when it's hot, like one in the morning, one in the evening. I was like, nah, you shouldn't. I don't.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't either. How
Yeah,
often?
twice a day is too much.
Yeah. How often do you shower, Arya?
With COVID, like less. I do sweat a lot, so like in the before times, I would probably do it like every day, like if I was going out. Nowadays that I'm home, like less often.
Yeah.
Maybe like twice a week. Wash my hair once a week.
Yeah. That's good enough. Let's see. How
Yeah.
often do you shower, Bo?
I mean, I guess I also, like some people are just like, oh, you must shower every day. It's like, no, you must shower when you are starting to stink, and then you shower, and then you don't stink anymore, and then you'll see what your activity. And also, like, I don't know, if it's minus 30, like you're not sweating as much, don't shower as much. If it's plus 50, go nuts.
Yeah. Are you
Wait,
saying
twice a day? Like, what kind of time do you have?
Yeah, I mean, people back in Brazil, when I used to live in Brazil, they were like that. And there is a whole culture around this, that Europeans are not clean people because they don't shower 5 times a day. I mean, yeah, Bo is in the
climates
team.
are different too.
That's true. But Bo is in the team. Rarely showering. Good for us. And he's talking about inviting Justin Frankel for the team. That would be a lot of fun.
I once asked him there's a website called askjf.com, and you go and it's very simple code. Yeah, bathing is good. I've recently gotten into it. I used to think like, oh, who takes baths other than people who want to kill themselves? But I do like baths now.
I would have liked them
Um,
if I had a bathtub over here. I think I would like them. I mean, I don't
mm,
think it's as clean because you're sort of soaking in your own dirt,
yeah,
but I do get the fun
it's
of,
a relax
yeah.
thing. Like it's yeah, to me, it's not like a cleanliness thing. It's just purely like if I want to like not touch my phone and not like fuck around and just kind of sit and think about stuff. I bathe, and whenever I bathe, I have a good tutorial idea, and normally I'm just like, oh, here's how you put a thing on the thing. Um, but yes, Bo, I asked on askjf.com. My idea was to take some really popular feature requests that people have had for years and kind of confront him about it.
Super
So I
friendly
asked on
invitation.
ask yeah. So I was like, hey, like would you be interested in something like this? And he's like, probably no, because I don't really like my face shown on stuff. And if you want, post them here, like, and I'll answer each one individually and you can make a video, but probably not down to come and have a long chat. But I mean, yeah, like you've managed to get a lot of people to come, so and I wouldn't have been able to, I don't think. So yeah, like please.
Yeah, we are counting on you, Bo. Thanks for doing that for us. Yeah, right. So this is the song, and I already did. So I did the guitar. You can see that there is a track here for guitars, and I did just the intro. You can see that there is not a lot in these tracks. So it was mostly just getting this down. But I couldn't really get my guitar in a session. Like Baby was asleep, so I could have a couple minutes. But so in that time I recorded some vocals, which typically people would probably record less. But that's the constraints that I had. So I recorded the vocals, and I recorded two of them because I wanted to get timing right, and I wanted to do the left and right panning that didn't really work well for the last song, but yeah, I think it's gonna work for this one. So I already have like vocals that are in sync, that sound relatively okay. I mean, this is a song about people. It's relatively in time. And what I thought we could do is something that takes this to the next step, which we did not talk about, like pitch correction, volume automation, recording backing vocals, that sort of thing. So where would you typically start? I guess it's kind of jumping the gun. You would probably do that at a later stage, not when the only thing you have is vocals on the track. But that's where we are, because that's the time that I had to do the things that I did. So where would you typically start? With automation, pitch correction, something else entirely, or maybe you would not even do these things?
I do these things. I don't know if like procedurally there's a difference between switching my first two steps. But I start with time correction, then I do pitch correction. And the reason is just because I notice time, I have better rhythm than pitch. So I notice time right away. It starts bothering me faster. So I go do that, then I do pitch. I don't know if you do pitch, then do time, if there's like a difference. I don't think so. I don't see how that would be, at least in like minor amounts that you're supposed to be like if you're tuning to, if you're two semitones off, you should re-record rather than tune. But 20 cents plus like 100 millisecond nudge, I don't see like how the order there would be different. Then I do volume ride, then I go and mix it up.
I see. But you would do all those things after you have tracks for everything else that you expect to have,
No,
right?
like not necessarily, not necessarily, and especially if you have a scratch, right? It happens like, especially like I don't sing myself, I use other singers, so sometimes the time that they're available, like the track isn't finished, and if it's like half finished, I still feel like a solid scratch track is maybe better.
Okay.
Versus like giving them kind of a half-assed recorded thing. Yeah, I think I mentioned this before. Any song that I do, I've done twice. I've done it once all the way to the end, and then scratch track that, and then do it one more time. Yeah, so that's my process.
Great, because it kind of matches what I had in mind and what I wanted to do. And I guess there is a technical reason to do timing first and pitch second, because I think we should use ReaTune unless there is a reason otherwise. But you mentioned that you liked ReaTune, so I think we should use that. And
Yeah, really enjoy it.
I know what all the controls do, but I never used it really, except for tuning the guitar. And as far as I understand, if you change the timing, then you have to redo the pitch correction because the pitch correction will apply to the wrong places.
Ah, okay. I guess, yeah. I guess you can always do pitch, print, then do timing, but yeah.
Ah, okay, yeah. Well, but then there is the whole attack on the pitch correction that could be weird, maybe not. Right, but in terms of timing,
I guess one argument would be like say you did the stretch marker thing, right? Stretch marker is adjusting the timing and then adjusting the playback speed. Playback speed affects pitch. So you do preserve pitch. So what if you didn't preserve pitch? It adjusted the pitch a little bit, then you corrected that. Maybe that would be a little better.
because you don't typically use stretch markers when you're aligning the vocals? You split and you
No, I use stretch markers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But like, yeah, say you, if you don't preserve pitch, then maybe something that you nudged like, and you made the playback rate 0.98 will get closer in pitch. Then you have to do less tuning. Not in terms of work, but in terms of the amount that it's gonna affect the sound.
Yeah, because I don't think that the two are related. ReaTune doesn't know about playback speed and vice versa, right?
Yeah.
It does that in 2 steps. Yeah, and the thing is, I was playing around with the stretch markers, and in some places I was like, oh man, 0.73, that's a lot. But then I listened, and it was okay to my ears. So I guess we can start with this. Let's listen to what we have, and then we can fine-tune whatever stands out. Maybe you will see, you will hear
like
things that I didn't.
I think there are 2 rules of thumb with stretch markers. A, monophonic sounds a lot better for longer than polyphonic, obviously. Polyphonic just kind of confuses stretch markers. So if I'm stretch markering a polyphonic thing, I wouldn't go more than 1.1 up or like 0.8-ish down. With monophonic, you can go like, I don't know, going to about half again makes me wonder like if the performance can be improved. But yeah, like 0.7 or 1 point even 3, 4, you won't hear it. And then the other thing is like the fullness of the sound. So more full sounds, you'll get more weirdness. Less full sounds, you get less.
Yeah, I couldn't hear anything that
Like
stood
a
out
bass.
to me like, oh, this is, or if it had happened, I would have re-recorded, obviously. Right. So, and also speaking in terms of like the recording, I did the same thing I do when I'm streaming. I didn't change the setup at all. Before we played with different mic positions and all of that for singing and for recording the guitar mostly. But I think that if this works for voiceover, it is going to work for singing. I know that I'm prone to popping, so typically people would sing closer to the microphone. I don't do that.
Did you sit though?
Yes, just like I am right here.
Sitting apparently affects your pitch, and I understand it affects your breathing and it constricts your diaphragm and stuff. So it's better to stand.
True.
But it, I mean, the guitar, I felt like it sounded good.
Yeah, right. Okay, so let's hear what we have and stop me if you think that something stands out and we should correct in terms of timing.
Okay.
Or maybe even just re-record, whatever. This is a song about people who are in their third shower of the day. A song about... Well, I guess we need some reference, right? So how about I turn on the drums?
Sure.
Yeah, I think that makes more sense. This is a song about people who are in their third shower of the day. A song about people who shower both before and after going out. This is a song about you. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. It's better for the environment. It's better for your electric bill. It's better for your skin. It's better for your time. Just try it, and you will see that you need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. Yes, I too know people who go overboard with this. They stink. But don't be so afraid. Once a week may be too little, but dare I say, once a day may be too much. Unless you've been exercising, or it's been a really hot day. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. You need to shower, but you probably don't need to shower as often as you do. As you do. Hey.
Cool. No, I didn't hear anything that sounded weird to me. Some places I thought your edits can be a little nudge to the right. Like the fade was happening fast. It can be a little more chill, especially if you don't have lots of background noise or bleed to deal with. You can be not at the beginning. It was at that part that goes every day is not enough, or no, sorry, wait, what? Every day is too much.
But
maybe near
once a day may be too much. Unless you... This part?
Yeah, that check I felt kind of died too fast. Yeah, a few phrases like that.
Something like this?
And then maybe, yeah,
too
exactly.
Much. Unless you've been... Okay.
Yeah. Just little things like that, but like no timing I thought was okay.
Okay. And you can see that I was like playing with effects on this thing with delay and reverb on this thing because I want it to sound like an interjection. So I want it to sound different. But of course, it's just a first sketch of what it will sound like. Right. So let's talk about pitch correction then, because it's the next thing on the list of things to do. So tell me about it. How do you usually do it? I was thinking of using ReaTune, but what do you usually use?
So I was live streaming my mixes, like the one I sent you included. And I normally I was always using Waves Tune, which is similar to like to the Melodyne thing and whatever. Melodyne is better because Melodyne now has polyphonic action. But I had kind of forgotten the hotkeys because it had been a while since I did it. So I was forgetting the hotkeys, and yeah, so I was like, okay, let's try ReaTune, and I didn't hear any difference. So I felt like ReaTune was, if anything, kind of easier to work with. Fewer controls and like just good old pitch correction, and it's really easy because if you, for example, change your zooming or scrolling hotkeys in Reaper, ReaTune knows. So it follows those, which is awesome. So you can zoom in and out on stuff. That's super handy. And it's just really easy to work with. And I thought the results sounded really, really good. So I am now committed to using ReaTune.
Awesome. So that's what we are going to use then. So I just drop ReaTune on one of the tracks, not the parent, right? On the left channel, for instance.
Yeah, not on the parent. Yeah, you should do them separately because all the pitch deviations otherwise will actually be tuned, and that's not what you want. And it may also just create weirdness. If one has to be like tuned down 10 cents and one has to go up 10 cents, you're already in trouble.
Yeah.
And one thing that I do, I do the tuning as it's like as a track, and then I print it just because tuning is, like tuning audio is CPU intensive. So I do it, I commit to it, and I like bring it back into the thing. But for now, we can do it this way. And I would put it the first
because
plugin.
We haven't even tuned anything. Do you think that I should be printing the time stretch?
You don't have to, but I do.
Okay. So you print the time stretch. So you commit to. I guess I'm going to commit to the denoiser as well, but I'm fine with that. Or I cannot commit to the denoiser.
I would even tune before denoising, because I don't know, denoising can theoretically insert artifacts, no?
Yeah, denoising can introduce artifacts.
So like the tuning, I feel like I want to do it as the first thing,
Interesting. I thought you would want to get rid of the, essentially noise before you try to pitch.
I guess if you have a lot of noise, or if you have a pitched noise, it makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see. What exactly do we want to do here? I want to not run through the effects, but I do want to print these items. So I guess I just glue them, right?
I just glue, yeah.
Okay, so I guess it's a simple matter of selecting all of them, and I want to glue. I can glue as just one big item, or I can glue each section.
You can use X-Ray glue items independently. It's awesome because it keeps the color, it keeps the fades, so you can adjust the fades later. It does them independently, and it doesn't rename them with like dash glued. It just keeps the name. So I like it.
Okay,
and it goes pa 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 pa.
Never used that one before.
I guess some of your items didn't, so you were kind of taking one as a reference and correcting the other one, but like whatever, we glued the whole thing. That's fine.
Well, in some cases I was correcting the top one. In some cases I was doing the one below, and in some cases I was
it
doing
would have
both
been
actually.
weird. Cool.
So there was like one or two cases where I thought that they were kind of too far away, but neither one were correct. They were both one late, one early. So I
Right.
thought, well, I could re-record, but just, and that's what I did. Okay, so now we committed to the time stretching. We did not commit to the denoising. So we can run ReaTune
You can
before.
just bypass even.
Yeah.
Or run it before.
Run it before, and then later we can decide to freeze or commit or whatever we want to do, render, whatever we want to do up to this point or the whole thing. Doesn't matter. Right, so we have ReaTune on the left side, and let's start with this first window, because one thing that I think is kind of weird about the user interface on this is that we want to do manual correction, right? Or at least that's the one that I'm most interested in learning about. So I think we should do that one first. But the parameters over here, the parameters over here, they all affect this tab as well.
Each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's start here in terms of window size and overlap. Reference is just for the tuner, right?
Yeah. Like, yeah.
Okay. So in terms of window size and overlap, do you have recommendations?
I just play the track and see if it's like jumping around a bunch. I adjust.
Okay.
Like when you play, you'll see if it's detecting your pitch well enough or not, or if it's suddenly. Sometimes there's like it takes your T's or S's and sees them as like an F sharp 6, but obviously it isn't. It's just a pitched less like high end thing. So yeah, I just check.
Okay, so you leave all these parameters in their defaults, and you go straight to manual correction. Do you? I guess that's a question. Do you usually go for
no,
manual
I
or
do use
automatic?
I do use the tuner. I do change the tuner stuff. So yeah, I go there. So go there and play the track.
Well, we already know that the timing we are okay with, so I'm going to turn off the metronome because I think that we should focus on hearing the pitch. So yeah. This is a song about people.
Looks
so what?
fine to me.
Okay. So let's play around with these values for me to get a sense of what we are looking for. This is a song about people. So this is not reacting fast enough. It's not even grabbing some of the notes, right?
Yeah.
This is a song about people. And this window is so small.
And this doesn't have enough time
to catch any of the notes. This is a song about people. Okay. And
right there on people, that's a good place to kind of look at, because that's where it can kind of mess up. But yeah, you see how it's like how much resolution you have on this curve that it's drawing. Yeah.
So let's see this curve in different amounts of window size. About people. Just not grabbing anything.
It's just like not doing it, bro.
This is a song about people.
You unticked that box, didn't you? The automatic pitch correction box.
No, it was never on.
Oh, I don't know why it drew and then stopped drawing. You can see it in the manual bit as well.
There you go. Here it is.
Oh, okay, it's on that.
So if you have the window open, it doesn't draw. But if you have the tuner open, then it draws.
Oh.
Of course.
Weird.
Sounds about right. This is a song about people. Okay. I can see that before we had just a tiny amount of control. And over here we have, I guess that's a healthy amount then.
Yeah.
Overlap?
No. To me, like with vocals, don't need to really mess with that.
Okay. And then I guess the question that I asked. Automatic pitch correction, manual pitch correction, yes, no, when, why?
I think you can always try automatic and see if it works. Say it worked for 90% of the stuff and it didn't for 2 items. Well, you already reduced your work. Move those 2 items to another track, print the automatic stuff, then manual correct those other 2. But also I think like automatic pitch correction can be an effect, right? Like you want to sound like that. A manual correction, like you have more control, right? Maybe you want like when you're moving from an A to a B, you want that to be tight. But if then later you're saying like people, you don't want that to be super tight because it doesn't have to be. Or if you're going like if you're the glissandoing, with automatic pitch correction, it's just going to make that a stepwise motion, and with manual correction. So manual correction, more time consuming and more control. Automatic pitch correction, maybe 80% of the time you'd be okay and reduce your work, and then for whatever it is, then you switch to manual.
But the way you're phrasing it, it sounds like you usually go for manual.
I do the automatic and then it draws the thing in the manual section and you can go and check it out.
Ah, interesting. And do you can you do the T-Pain effect with ReaTune?
Yeah, change the attack time right there to like make it like 5 milliseconds. And pick your scale, because right now you're in the chromatic scale. So pick your scale and it will it will do it.
This is a song about people. Fun stuff.
Yeah.
But let's not.
Yeah.
So okay, I guess we need to talk about the attack time. We need to talk about. So we are not gonna go with automatic for this one, or we wanted to print the diagram for us to do the manual one, because that's the one I'm most interested in really learning, because this one is just turning it on.
Cool.
So this whole section we can ignore, right?
Sure.
But this we have to take some action in. So attack time. How do we calibrate this, if at all?
You can decide based on like again, kind of based on music. One thing you can do is, do you have music math in your action list? Or do this instead. Music math is too fancy. What's the BPM of your song? 140. So do 60,000 divided by 140.
What are we calculating here? Why 60,000?
We're calculating the duration. We're calculating the duration of a quarter note in milliseconds. So it's kind of like, how much leeway do you want to give your notes to be a little wonky before you tune them, right? So 250 is like 1/16. You're giving each note a 1/16 to be not tight and then get tight. So is that enough?
Interesting. So in other words, the reasoning that you do is you don't think of attack time necessarily in terms of milliseconds. You think of it in terms of notes.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So 1/16 should be enough.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. And in terms of stereo correction, I don't really need that. Well, I am panning, but I am panning this after. So
yeah, your track is your item is mono, so
I don't need to have this. Does it hurt to have it enabled?
Yeah. I don't know, possibly more CPU. Oh, well, if you untick it and tick it, does it affect the CPU on the bottom there?
No, it's not taking any CPU, but also it's not doing anything. So let's run some audio through it.
Like DSP wise, I don't like know a lot of this stuff, but I'm like, well, stereo correction, if I don't need it, I won't use it,
Yeah.
Because who knows?
This is a song about people. This is a song about people.
The real clever thing would be if it knows right now that it doesn't need to do stereo correction. So even if you take it, it doesn't do anything. But then that would beg the question, why would you have that box there instead of just doing it in the background?
Yeah. In typical
bragging?
Reaper fashion, this effect takes no CPU. It's just free.
Cool.
Yeah. Gotta love that about Reaper effects. In fact, that actually brings me to an interesting point. You know how I keep tweaking the vocal chain I use for the streams? I tweaked it again. I took out TDR Nova, as much as I like it, because it's like 1% CPU, and my computer already struggles with streaming and doing things at the same time. So every percent of CPU matters to me, and I don't think the difference is measurable, but I did switch from TDR Nova to just ReaEQ, because that thing is, it's free. It's 0% CPU, and TDR Nova is like 1% CPU.
And you can make a ReaEQ be dynamic if you wanted to.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those handstanding situations where you make things more complicated for yourself. And there is this Reaper blog video in which he is like, I'm going to show you how to do this, but please don't. And now I think I may have a counter argument. Maybe please do if your computer cannot handle. And if you store the thing as if you link the parameters and you store the whole thing as an effects chain, it's relatively ergonomic to use. It's just more effects on the chain and maybe more tracks, more channels on the track.
Yeah.
But it's going to be free in terms of CPU. And there's a lot more that Nova is doing. It's doing oversampling, which ReaEQ cannot currently do. And of course, there are more controls in terms of attack and release. And well, not quite really, because parameter modulation actually does give you attack and release. So yeah, there you go. It's just less ergonomic, but it's also free in terms of CPU. So gotta love that. And then, yeah, over here. But by the way, I'm not using dynamic EQ. I just put ReaXComp in there. And I mean, there's something to be said about a dynamic EQ being more transparent because it doesn't have the artifacts of the crossover filters from a multiband compressor. But you know what? I couldn't hear a difference. I bet that you can either. It's fine to DS with ReaXComp. Right?
Yeah. I mean, and what DSer doesn't internally just band limit and compress, right?
Well, there are other techniques to do DS. Like you can do what Chris from Air Windows is doing, which is like completely crazy, different, has to do with the slew of the waveform. And you can do dynamic EQ, or you can do multiband compression, or you can even do wideband compression, but you can sidechain and only trigger on the frequency that you care about. But I tried that. With ReaComp, it's very easy to do a filter on the sidechain. I didn't like the results as much as I liked ReaXComp. And again, ReaXComp is also free in terms of CPU. So that's that. Right. Okay. So in terms of algorithm, I think this was the algorithm that we determined sounded best for voice. It was also the algorithm I used to do the time correction. So nothing to change here, right?
Yeah.
Great. So I've watched videos on this and everything, and I am not really sure that I understand how to operate this thing. Can you show me like the basics?
Yeah, just tick manual correction and track pitch.
Oh, okay.
And then you just play your track through.
Oh, so it has to play through like old style Melodyne. It doesn't have Arya support.
No, not as far as I know. Maybe if you rendered, but I don't think so. Like if you render, it still does run through the plugin, but I don't know if that'll work.
And what if I just click on update? What does that do?
I think that's when you make edits. Like, oh, you move. Oh, there you go. I didn't know that update does that. I thought like that's for when you like make an edit and then you say update. But there you go.
Huh. You know,
But hold on. Zoom out because maybe only the parts that we played as we were fidgeting with this have been recorded. Like, is it the whole song?
it's interesting that I cannot scroll past 48 seconds, but I didn't play all
So yeah,
of
that's
this.
how far you played, no?
No, I didn't get this far after having put the effect on the track. No, it's just when I scroll there, then I have access to more of this window. No. Okay, this just behaves.
I think you gotta play the thing.
Oh yeah, there we go. So if I just play it, it's there.
Yeah.
Okay, so it does do the Arya thing. Not Arya as in Arya, but Arya as in the feature of VSTs that load the whole track in the plugin. Yeah, so everything is in here. That's great. And you mentioned how this window knows your Reaper configuration for scrolling, and it does. It knows my keyboard shortcut or my mouse modifier for zooming and scrolling. But you know what it does not know? It's not aware of a setting that you have never touched because you don't have a touchpad, but I have a touchpad. So I care about this. There's this setting to reverse the vertical and horizontal scroll. In macOS,
Oh, it doesn't reverse the...
yeah, in macOS there is this thing called natural scrolling, which is like just the opposite of what a PC does. And I leave that as the default. It's on, and I never touched it. So in Reaper, you have to come in here and tick these two boxes to have the natural scrolling and a touchpad in macOS. This window is not aware of this setting because I have to scroll backwards, which is weird and disorienting. But
There is a workaround for that. You can go to the action list, and for every scroll and zoom feature, there's a reversed version.
it doesn't work.
So you
For
reverse
instance,
it.
For instance, on the mixer, if you want the mixer to scroll naturally, I'm going to say, right now I don't have enough tracks for the mixer to scroll. But if I make the window smaller, yeah, the mixer scrolls naturally if you have those two boxes ticked. But if you go into the actions and you change the meaning of the actions, the mixer scrolls weirdly. So it's better to have...
The mixer stays the same.
Yeah, it's better to have that setting that I showed enabled. Yeah, I did a whole video about how to use a touchpad with Reaper because it's so bad by default.
I guess this can be a bug report of sorts because probably they added that because people were asking for it and they like forgot to implement to ReaTune.
Okay, I'll
They
take
probably
note.
already have the system in place, right? To like respect stuff.
Yeah, I'll take note of this and I will report it later. Right, so over here we have some notes that are grayed out, probably because of this, and I don't think I like that. I'll go just with chromatic here. I want to see all the notes. Because I do modulate in the song, it's not entirely in C major. There are other chords in there. So, clear, I guess, is just going to clean all of this. An update is going to... So if I changed the timing of anything, I would have to click here on update, and I would have lost my changes.
Yeah, I always thought you have to listen to it first and then you can update, but interesting that you don't have to do that.
Yeah, we just learned how to save you a bunch of time.
I always have it on, so as I do my time correction, this is like happening in the background, so I never thought to kind of improve upon that.
Right, so I guess now we do the interesting bit. Oh, it's so weird to scroll backwards. But the thing is, we could just start drawing lines here and
Yeah.
and it will do the pitch correction. So that is like the basics of how the thing works. But now the more interesting thing is how to make it sound good, when to not draw the line because it's going to go overboard and all of that. So I want to do it together so I can do like the subjective and get a feeling for how you think it's well done. So let's hear this. This is a song about people. So this part, for instance, I don't think we should tune too much, but here I can use some help, and maybe on this note and there. First time using this, a lot of fun. And I could draw a line like this.
Yeah.
Should I? I can, but should?
I find it unnecessary because, like, I feel like with all... So that's, I guess, another thing, right? Like with synths, that always kind of fails to be natural is if you take a violin... as your fingers move, first of all, we have a tendency to start our movement with more velocity and then slow down as we're honing in on the correct pitch. But also that rate is itself fluctuating because the distance between E and F sharp 1 versus E and F sharp 2 is different. So nothing is linear in nature. So why make a drop linear? To me, it doesn't serve a purpose.
I see. So my next question for you is, how do I delete this line then?
I think Option.
No.
Right click.
No. You are going to the same place as I went. Don't drag.
Right drag and clear.
Right drag? No.
Yeah, can you right drag to select multiple points? If you say clear, does it get rid of everything?
It gets rid of everything that we don't want to
It got rid of everything you said?
Yeah. Double click doesn't work?
I think then it's Command and Z will work a bunch of times. Hold on. Sometimes it's hard for me to do this that way, but I can do it by putting a ReaTune here.
What do you mean?
I just need to like do it on my side to remind myself of how to do it.
Hi, and welcome to the Sound Design Podcast.
Well, on mine it's
That's
like
popping.
I'm not
I
even
hate
gonna
pops.
do it.
I hate pops more than I hate S's. And after I learned what pops were, I hear them everywhere.
Yeah, once you become aware of it, you will never become unaware of it. Okay, I got the thing. Are the pops gone?
Now I'm no longer hearing the thing.
Oh, I'm not playing anything that you would hear, actually. I was just...
No, you played for a second there.
I played something for a second, yeah, just to make sure that it's voice and not like a sound effect. Oh, okay. There is not a way. I don't know how I never run into this tuning a whole project, like basically 6 vocal takes, and I never had to delete one of these, but none of the things work. Oh wait, hold on. Backspace. Click on it and backspace. It's kind of weird. I wish Alt and click worked.
That makes sense.
I guess, but Alt click would be nice for sure, because you're doing everything by mouse, and I'll have to move this finger all the way to my backspace. I never had to delete one.
I just realized that there are hidden shortcuts over here. I have delete. Delete you have to hit with the right hand, and typically my right hand is on the touchpad. So I have delete remapped, or not remapped. Delete works, but A also works as delete. I have both keys mapped to delete. On my Reaper configuration, they both do the same. And I pressed A just to see if that mapping transferred over here as well, and it didn't, but it did select all the segments.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
And now I don't know how to
and
unselect
S can split a segment. And if you want to unselect, I guess you can just click somewhere else.
No, doesn't work. But if I select one segment, the rest of them deselect. And I cannot lasso them. I cannot like take the right drag.
Like a
doesn't work.
marquee select. Yeah, but yeah, S also splits them. I didn't know that.
Oh, and if I hold Control, then it snaps to being horizontal, which I guess is what I want most times. Oh, no, I don't need Command for that. It just snaps. It's always snapping.
But if you hold Shift, it will no longer respect semitones.
I see. Yeah, but I was...
That's cool. These are great.
When I was dragging, I kind of noticed that it is a bit finicky. Maybe I'm just too zoomed out for this to work well, because, I mean, could be more zoomed in, like this, maybe. Not necessarily horizontally. I could be like this. Something like this will work probably. Let's hear this. This is a song about people. Okay. I think that this is probably too much. This is a song about people. Okay, how does that sound?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Okay. I guess doing too little is better than doing too much. And can you do like select a segment and say, okay, I want to do less pitch correction on this one or more on that one?
What do you mean by less or more?
Like, what happens when we play the thing? This is a song about people. It's going away, but it's taking the real pitch, which is in red, and correcting it. The yellow lines are like the corrections, and they are going to the place where I told the thing to go. But we could say, okay, only correct 50% the way there. It's out of tune, but I don't want it to be like perfect.
Like a strength.
Yeah.
Not that I know of. No.
Okay.
Because, yeah, like, I mean, with attack time, you affect that, but only from the top. So if you want it to be like only go, like get to the semitone, but don't go nuts. I don't know if there is a way. There may be a way.
Okay, let's hear with and without, just to see if this is making a difference and how much of a difference it's making. This is a song about people. This is a song about people. Okay.
On the this, I feel it. On the song, like you arrive at that note from below, so you go or so if you correct that, you will hear that difference. But I don't know if you want to like get rid of that like climb up, or you want to keep it.
In which word?
On song, you go song like so you can make it to be like da 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 and just keep the pitch stable.
Okay, I'll hear that. This is a song about people. Now that I'm being more surgical about this, I think I can hear artifacts of the pitch of the time correction, but too late for that. I printed that. It will be there. This is a song. Yeah, I think I prefer it this way.
Cool.
This is
I guess, can you zoom in? Zoom in on song. Like horizontally.
Yeah, I'm trying, but my trackpad is backwards.
So you see how like you start on C sharp, you go down, then you kind of stabilize for a moment at C sharp, and then you crawl back up to D2. So maybe you can keep the rise, but start the rise at C sharp or start the rise at C. So like instead of that double movement, just kind of, and then you can drag it up to that line. I've never done the dragging up, so it will be news to me as well if this will sound interesting or not.
This is a song about... don't think so.
Sorry, I gotta answer the phone for a sec.
Sure. This is a song about people. This is a song about people. This is a song about people. This is a song about people.
Sorry.
That's fine. I think that I prefer without that.
Okay.
That line, this line, without this line. I think it's better. This is a song about people who are in their It's weird because it when I clicked on update, it drew the line, but then when I play, it kind of changes its mind.
It adjusts, yeah.
And also, this I don't think was supposed to be happening.
Is that if you scroll, is it part of like what's going on before? Oh, but it kind of comes in. I guess I get that because if your cursor was following playback, those notes hit as you know, it's like the I don't know, Pro C compressor or whatever. Like you can check there that it's going through those notes, but yeah, it's touch ugly.
Who are in their third shot. It's hard for me to tell if I should be touching this, and if so, like if I do it like this, or if I just decide to go like, oh come on, get out of the way, like that.
Do you want an unrelated comment about this line? Do you know have you heard of prosody?
Yes.
Yeah, so the prosody of this line bothers me a little bit. Because you say, who are in there? But in reality, we, like, if we're saying who are in their third, we don't emphasize any of these words. But in here, you're putting the strong beat on are and there, where there isn't one.
True.
So if I was writing the lyrics, I would don't add the who are. I'd just be like under third, you know what I mean? Like, you know, it's informal, it's chill. And the rhythm may also work better that way too. Under third day, you know, da 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 da. But this is like da 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 da.
Okay. Let's do a quick cut to just hear that. Well, I'm gonna save this and try to undo up to this point, or maybe save a copy. I really don't want to commit to this. Just want to hear what it sounds like. I will do volume automation to get that out. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Okay. This is a song about people who are in their third
I guess what I'm proposing does change the rhythm. So you go who are under third, and I was thinking to go under third, so da da da, but you go da 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 da.
Yeah, I am
So
noticing
you
that
can
I'm
get
not
it
able to
out
do
of
that.
this. Yeah.
Okay, so if I change the timing of things, it will mess the tuning. But if I just take a line out and re-record it, then it's just a gap and it will not mess with anything we do. So we can keep going.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So let me make sure that I take note of this. Who are ghosts just in the third shower? Oh, I'll know what this is about. Yeah, good point. I tend to write in full sentences, like you could sort of
I've
read
noticed this.
Yeah. For instance, here, this chorus is you need to shower, but here it's that you need to shower because I am kind of following up to, and you will see that.
Right. I love that because that bothers me when yeah, I understand being a little informal, but some people's grammar goes way off. Like they pluralize the second verse, but then their chorus still starts in third person tense and stuff. That stuff bothers me. So I appreciate that. And then like writing full sentences like in line 61, I think it's really funny. Because it's really funny, but yeah, sometimes you could just kind of like drop a word or two. Like if it rhythmically helps, I would do that.
Yeah, and speaking of rhythm, I did something kind of weird, kind of on purpose on this chorus. It is a
You got
5
a
bar.
tag, yeah.
Yeah. It is 5 bars, not
It's
4.
like, what's that Beatles song? They have a song that they do. Well, Eleanor Rigby does a version of that too. Da 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 da, which is good because I mean there's so many songs in C, G, F, G. You got to do something, and you did something real good.
Great. Right. I'll also do this bit. Oh, it's not smart. I'll do this bit so that later I remember to do it. Do you know that? That's Markdown. You can do this.
Cool. Tilde. Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. So let's go to the next line and do that, and then we'll call it a day. I just want to have a bit more experience doing this, and then I will do the tuning, and then maybe next week we can talk about background vocals, and we will return to the string quartet. I was just having so much fun playing the guitar that I wanted to do this. So, yeah.
This, I guess, one thing about ReaTune is that is really cool, and I also just use it on guitars and stuff, not for correction, but to see, my playing. And so with my singing, me and you have the same thing. And I think most people, the beginning of our pitches are off when we're starting a note because we're probably hearing the correct note in our head and then the sound comes out of our mouth and we instantly correct it. So right on this note that you actually start kind of correct, but go C sharp, D sharp, back to D. So stuff like that, I correct near the top more. And then once you're inside D, it's you're within a few semitones and whatever else that's there is character in your voice, so that's what I do. More rigid at the top of the notes. And that's also how we perceive pitch. The onset, we put more weight in it. So if I go ba versus ba, you still hear both of them about the same pitch.
Interesting. And when I was doing the alignment, I kind of could do it just by looking at the waveform, especially with spectral peaks. I was able to do a relatively good job, and then of course I would listen to it and do any corrections. But over here with pitch, can I do the same? I can see a line here, can I just go boom, 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 and then here, or do you usually
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, why not? Yeah. More or less you can tell which ones like, oh, this note is a disaster versus like this note, not too much. But yeah, like what you're doing right there on the D, I wouldn't do it. After I'm within D, I stop correcting.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like I'm in D, okay, you're like 25 cents kind of below the exactly where it is, but that's all cool. Or like at the end when you add a vibrato, to me that's character, that's cool. I keep that.
Okay. A song about people. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, like that end of people, like that vibrato, I want to keep. People.
Okay, and I guess looking at this for the first time, it probably will help me sing better next time, I suppose, because I have visual feedback of what the waveform looks like when I'm singing, or not the waveform, the pitch looks like when I'm singing.
With guitar, the same thing. Like I with ReaTune, I learned that I over squeeze at the beginning, and then I'm like, oh, my fingers are hurting, and I lay off it a little bit, so my pitch is a little better. With guitar now.
Interesting. Who shower both before and after going out. Okay, so I guess I would do something like this. Let's see if I'm getting the hang of it. Because it's too easy to go on YouTube and watch someone doing it and then you're like, okay, I got this. No, you didn't. Not until you've done it yourself. And
Gotta do this stuff.
this? I don't know. Let's hear.
Give it a try.
Shower both before. Probably something like this too. Push.
Even since we're on the topic of prosody, on this line too, I would say who shower before and after going out. And then all the strong beat, weak beats are like shower before and after going out. It's all on the right place.
Interesting. Okay, so you're saying essentially take out.
Essentially, yeah.
Okay. I don't think I need this note anymore because I'm taking note of it this way. Shower both before and after going out. But actually this ramp worked.
Yeah, I like it.
And then probably something like this. And I'm not even sure if I should be on C sharp or D, but
Right, which pitch? Yeah.
but it's probably that. Probably go something like this. This is a song about you.
No, it was D.
For this guy or for the other one?
For both, I think, because it's like da-da-da-da.
Oh, yeah, it's a D here. This is a song about... Okay. Probably then to here, because I probably am doing that thing on purpose at the end. This is a song about you. Okay, I like it.
Yeah.
All right, so it's just rinse and repeat for, oh man, and then the whole thing again for the other vocal. This is gonna take forever. I'm not sure I like doubling things. It is so time consuming.
You can fake double things.
Yes, I know, but I wanted to give, and that's more or less what we did last time, but I wanted to give this a shot because it's supposed to be better, right? To sound better.
You can also, so some people do is they correct one and they don't correct the double. So you already get more pitch deviation, but also with mix, you can kind of have it, especially if you triple stuff. So you can take your center, have it louder, more compressed, more time corrected, more pitch corrected. And then your doubles give it like extra humanity. They're not perfectly in tune. All of that creates extra deviation. So if you correct one thing, like if you give people an anchor to put their pitch, like to kind of get the pitch, you don't have to do it with everything. So like same thing with drums, right? If your toms are tuned, then people perceive your drums to be in tune, even if your snare and kick are out. Or if your guitar, like your top notes are in tune, you can go nuts with the rest. It's always like you just need one thing to be in place, and then everything around that we perceive as like modulation and all these like pleasant things. It's just if everything's out of tune is bad.
Sure. So in this situation where I was thinking about having 2 vocals, not 3, would you like correct the left side and not the right? I don't think so, right?
You could. Why not?
Really? Ah, interesting. And one thing that you may have noticed...
You could also correct the left side, put it in the center, fake double the right side, and pan it left, right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I will want to keep the doubles, the real doubles, just because I want to learn how to do it. And one thing that I did is I did not hard pan them. I went 60%. I thought that kind of helped with the alien quality that we heard on the double vocals last time.
Yeah, I mean, doubles, you shouldn't really ever hard pan. I don't remember last time if we hard panned them. I don't think we hard
did,
panned
but
them.
yeah, I will not rewatch the streams and check. But I think we did. I remember doing that. Right. Okay, so the plan is I will do the pitch correction, the whole thing. I probably will not have the time to, but if I do have the time, I will record the rest of the guitars. I have a whole idea of what I want to do here on this introduction. I want to do the strings from BBCSO. I want to give this like a tremolo kind of thing to be very dramatic. I see if I can. I pretty much. I thought about doing it on the stream, but I think we pretty much know what is going to happen here. It's a string quartet, yeah, but it's just going to spell out the chord that I was playing on the guitar. So if it works, it works. And it will be a string quartet, so a real one, not with synthesizers. So maybe next week we can do gain writing. Same story. We all know how to, or at least you can all go watch on YouTube a tutorial on how to put some volume envelopes on the items and do the writing. But I wanted to get a feel for what it sounds like and how to do it well, just like we are doing with pitch. And we can do that next week. How does that sound?
Sure, sounds good.
Okay, and moving forward, tomorrow and on Friday, I will be working on my auto mixer. One of the biggest supporters of the channel asked for some new features, exciting features, on one of my favorite parts of the auto mixer, which is video. Do you know about this, Arya?
Like, you mean that you can take, like, you can make it switch cameras, right?
Yeah, that thing.
Based on like whose camera is more. Yeah, that's actually something that I want to be using on this TV show that we're working on, because we're gonna have multiple speakers, and actually we're gonna have 2 people on Zoom and 2 people in studio. So if we can set that up, and I guess if it can, because this is live, if the auto mixer can switch scenes. No.
Well, now that you say that, okay, so we are going to talk about this more tomorrow, but the auto mixer has this feature that it can look at multiple cameras and it can switch to different cameras based on who's speaking. And the request that our biggest supporter has is that we have a hold so the camera doesn't switch as fast. And second, that if the camera has been for too long on the screen, they want to switch to a different camera, maybe a wide view for variety.
Cool.
So we're going to add those two features.
Nice.
Those 2 features starting tomorrow, which means that we are taking a brief pause on the library because I'm not using the library on the auto mixer. We started the library after the auto mixer, so we're just going to revisit old code and improve it. But all of this is to say that the way that the auto mixer for video currently works is with the video processor in Reaper. And as we all know, the video processor doesn't work live. You cannot feed video into Reaper live. That's what we have OBS for. But one thing that the auto mixer, so it comes in 2 parts. The auto mixer has a JS effects that you put on the tracks and mixes the audio, and then that sends a signal to the video processor, the second part, and the video processor does the camera switching. Right now, it's working like that using global memory in JSFX. But what it could be doing instead is sending a MIDI signal. Just like ReaTune does, we can show that for people who don't know. There's this send MIDI events when pitch changes. I could be sending MIDI events when the camera changes. And then you could translate that MIDI event into like a
scene change.
A scene change in OBS. So you would have a third part of the third piece of software that listens for MIDI events, translates MIDI events into WebSocket events or WebSocket messages, and sends the message via WebSocket, via OBS WebSocket to control scene changes. So that is possible. Yes, we can do it live.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotta do it live. We'll do it live. Also, well, I don't know if you're taking automixer requests. I'm like, oh, here's a bunch of stuff I want.
Go ahead.
But so you know what would be really cool is if automixer, and then I guess no, because I was saying like doing something like a tri-leveler as well. But you can always put tri-leveler after the automixer.
That's what I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact,
so never mind that. It's
hang on, I have to take note of this. So the way that I edit my podcast is I'm not doing it live. I loudness normalized to -23 LUFS using the Reaper feature, nothing fancy. Before I was using SWS, but nowadays Reaper can do that. Then I put the auto mixer, then I put the tri-leveler. And of course I EQ things in, actually EQ things at each channel because I don't want the things that the EQ is taking out to trigger the auto mixer, right? The same reason why you would put an EQ before a compressor when you do that. So EQs and denoisers on each track, and also re-XComp to do de-essing and de-popping. For instance, I tend to not pop the microphone because I am further away from it. My wife pops the microphone a lot more because she's usually eating the mic, while our S's are in different places as well. So I do all of this at each track, and I customize for our voices. Then auto mixer, but the auto mixer is not going to have to work too hard because all the tracks have been normalized to -23, then tri-leveler, and then limiter, and that's pretty much the effects chain I use on the podcast. And I think it sounds very nice. I spend a lot of time hating it, but these days I love it. And I'm very critical of my own work, so I think that's a good sign. And to do it live, of course, you cannot pre-normalize everything to -23, but I guess similar logic. How does that sound?
Set levels like you just kind of set levels to be around the same.
Yeah.
And then the auto mixer takes care. Yeah, because I really want to have that happening, so I don't have to do it. And yeah, and then tri-leveler after that would be cool.
Yeah, I really like the tri-leveler. All right, so let's see. Okay, that's very clean of you. Yeah, seems like he prefers actual coding before discussing coding. Yeah, he seems to be a very chill guy. Justin Frankel seems to be a very chill guy. Okay, as long as you don't... Yeah, I don't think I was hunching. I was like I am right now. And it just makes more sense for me because I was like editing a line. Oh, I don't like this one. I'm going to sing it again. And I don't want to keep like standing up and sitting down. So that made sense to me. Yeah. We'll not smack out the tune, but we'll smack this person out Not that it matters because we are ending this stream, but here we are.
Well,
All right.
it's not even a URL. What the hell is that thing?
I really don't know.
understand.
I wish I understood what they're going for here. How are they trying to make money out of this? Because that's the end goal, right? They must be trying to make money.
Yeah.
But how
Yeah,
is
maybe
that?
it's somebody just testing code. Like this is just a bot that hasn't even graduated yet.
All right. Thank you very much, Arya, for streaming with me. It has been a lot of fun, and I always learn so much from you. I see you again on Monday for more of the pitch shifter. Circling back to
Pitch shift
core.
action.
Yep.
Yeah.
And yeah, everyone else, I see you tomorrow for some auto mixer stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you very much, Arya. Bye.
Yeah. See you soon.